Hey y'all, what's up with it? We back for season 3 of Backpacks and Hair Wraps. Yo, I can believe that we're on season 3. It just seems like time is just flying by. I'm excited about just this new season of life, the new season of the podcast, the new year 2022. Even though I don't say the new year technically starts until springtime, but still I'm feeling the new energy slowly coming on in before we even get to spring. So I'm super lit about that. First, I want to thank you for being tuned in. If you are listening to the sound of my voice, I thank you so much for being here. That means you've been rocking with me for a minute and you continue to rock with me. And I love and appreciate you so much. Before we get started, I want to let you know that season 3 is bringing a whole new level of transparency. It's bringing a new level of vulnerability for me. I am being pushed in this season to become something new, to become greater than I've been. And honestly, it's the version of me that I've seen myself to be, and I am growing into her right now as we speak. And I'm letting you know this because you're on the journey with me, and I want you to see my growth as well as, be inspired by your own growth. We're on the journey together. We're all here trying to get to the next level. We're all here trying to further evolve our planet. We're all here to further evolve our souls and continue to do the Creator's work while we're here. So, just to let you know, season 3 is going to be something different. Thank you for tuning in. Grab your pen, grab your journal. Let's go. Before I begin, I want to pray as always. So if you could take a moment, just pray with me. If you don't pray, just take a little moment of silence with me, whatever you do, whatever feels comfortable. But I'm going to pray because that's what works for me. Dear God, Creator, all-knowing force, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you so much for this platform, for this vision, for this mission that you've given me. I ask that you speak through me today, speak for me. Allow me to show you in all that I do. May anyone that is hearing the sound of my voice, may they hear you. May they see you. May they experience you. May they feel you, dear God. I thank you so much. Allow your work to be done through this episode. Allow your work to be done through my life. Allow your work to be done through the lives of those that are listening to the sound of my voice right now. I ask that everyone that can hear me experiences you in their own way. I ask that they get their own personal relationship with you, that they find you for themselves and they tap into their higher purpose as well as I have. I thank you so much in advance that your will be done. I just thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Man, look, before we get into this episode, I need to let you know that a whole lot has changed since the last episode that I dropped back in September when the fall kicked off. I told you how this season would be about change and growth, and that I was just so excited for what was about to happen. I did not know what was about to happen. I just could feel that there were big changes on the horizon. I need to let you know, because you on the journey with me, I am birthing a new me, literally and figuratively, because I am expecting my 4th child. Yes, I am expecting my 4th child. That has happened since I dropped that podcast episode. And I just think that God has a sense of humor, because I kept using in that particular episode the analogy about how every time I gave birth to one of my children, I changed. And what do you know? Here I am about to do it again. I'm letting you know that. So, also, that has a lot to do with why I keep feeling a little bit out of breath while I'm talking. But you know what? Y'all gonna get the real from me this season. Y'all gonna get the real in every way. The raw, transparent me. I'm not doing any edits. I'm not doing any changes to what comes out when I'm recording. And I had a friend tell me when I dropped the first episode of the podcast, like the first season 1, she was like, I like your podcast. She said, but I want you to talk like you talk at home on a regular basis, not in your professional voice. And I was like, but I don't really talk in my professional voice anymore. She was like, but you're doing it on a podcast. I didn't even realize it until I went back and listened, And then my husband told me the same thing. He was like, yeah, you talk in a podcast voice, like a professional kind of voice when you're doing a podcast. I was like, no. So I'm not changing anything up. I want y'all to get the real me, just the raw, uncut version of me. So, just tap in, tune in. I hope you got your pen and your paper like I asked you to grab. And if you don't have a journal for the podcast, you can head over to thebookofcorinthian.com. I actually dropped some new merch, and I have these journals with the podcast logo on there if you want to start keeping up with your notes that you get from the podcast or any inspiration. And don't forget, download the Book of Corinthian app if you hadn't already done that. You got to download the app because you get daily affirmations every day for free. Just free motivation comes to you every day just by having the app downloaded. And plus, you'll never miss an episode of the podcast. All right, this week's episode is called The Power of Gratitude. Gratitude is simply the art, the state of being grateful. And the reason I am sharing this episode with you is because gratitude has changed my life so tremendously. Gratitude has shown up for me in ways, in seasons that I didn't know that it could. So, back in 2016, when I started learning about like the law of attraction and meditation, and I was having my spiritual awakening, I learned about gratitude. I remember watching The Secret, and it was talking about, that's the movie, The Secret, and it talks about the law of attraction, things like that. It's on Netflix, and I believe they have it on YouTube, because I remember checking out. They have a whole one on YouTube, if you ever want to check it out. But yeah, so they talked about, gratitude and how that was like a secret of success, and it made so much sense to me. It just made sense. When you hear something that is truthful, it just resonates with your spirit. You don't really question it. It just makes sense. And so I started practicing gratitude on a daily basis. I started practicing it like, I get up in the morning, I write in my journal what I was thankful for. Before I went to bed, I would write down the good things that happened to me throughout the day. Then I remember one time I was in this meeting. That's back when I was doing Toastmasters when I worked for the state of Texas. I was in a meeting, and one of the people got up, and he was sharing how like gratitude helped, just helps you with your state of happiness. It helps with your daily mood. It just helps with your inner joy. So it was like in alignment with what I was learning. So that was like my confirmation to keep on doing it, keep practicing it. And the more I practice gratitude, the more stuff started changing right in front of me. It's like my heart started opening. I just started seeing life differently. So, when I learn something, I want to share with other people. So, fast forward a couple of years. Gratitude worked a lot. It worked. Man, I got a whole list of ways that it worked, for real. One in particular, when my son Legend, he was in one of his like most challenging times of his sickness. That was shortly after they told us that he wasn't gonna live, possibly wouldn't live to see age 2, and I cried. I let all those emotions out. And I talked to God. I prayed. God would say, don't you forget what I've told you, what I've shown you. You must speak life, even if it looks like death. You give thanks every single day as if this thing is already done. You know what I did? I got to work. I started saying thank you for my son's good health. I started saying thank you that his legs work. Thank you that his throat works where he's able to swallow. Thank you that he's getting the proper nutrition. I was claiming these things like they was done, even though they wasn't already done. And then slowly, little bit by little bit, we see changes. Things are improving. Things are getting better. And it's like that was my message, that gratitude works. And so a couple months later, after I had my daughter, I started teaching as an art teacher. And one thing I made my students do, once we started meditating things, I started making them add gratitude to our routine. So you have to write down what you're grateful for every day before we even really get started with class. That was an automatic thing.
Must tell me what you're grateful for. You got to write it down. Then when we go to the next school year, instead of them writing down on paper, I would make them put it in a chat box on the Zoom when we were doing the virtual school, when the pandemic hit. So yeah, people would be putting their stuff in the chat. So it's like everybody was able to see, no matter what's going in life, there's always something to be grateful for. If you are awake, if you have breath in your body, if you are living, breathing, you have at least one thing to be grateful for. And if you look around, you got two. If you keep looking, you have three things. If you look again, you have four things. Everybody has something to be grateful for at any given time. And the more that we acknowledge that, the more that we expand on that, the more that we give thanks for what we do have, we open up space in our lives to get more. Now, in my old school, during like the middle of the second semester, I had a kid join my class. And, we was going around saying we were grateful for it because by this time, most of the kids were in person. Even though we still had some on Zoom, most of them were in person. This is 2021 semester 2, like in the springtime. Had a new kid join my class. We get to him. I'm like, what you grateful for today? He was like, nothing. Everybody looked at him because at this point, everybody's so used to doing it. It's easy for everybody to just shoot out 3 to 5 things of what they're grateful for. Some kids even did more the more we did it. But everybody looked at him like, you ain't grateful for nothing? And I'm like, so you don't have nothing to be grateful for? He was like, no, I sure don't. And I was like, but you alive today? He was like, and? I was like, you got on some real nice shoes? He was like, so I bought them. Didn't nobody buy them for me. I'm just like, well, you should be grateful that you had money to buy those nice shoes, because, I mean, when I was your age, I wasn't rich like that. I couldn't afford shoes to buy my own shoes. My parents had to buy my shoes. He was like, well, I don't have parents. He was like, my parents, they ain't around. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And so I kind of dropped it because I'm realizing that this kid is dealing with some hurt. And then one of the kids, she said, Miss, I don't think he have a lot of joy. I don't think he might not be capable of having joy. And I was just like, wow. I don't know, they just kind of stunned me for a second. So I just eased up. I'm saying my little prayers in my head, asking spirit to help me to reach this kid, or just give me some insight on what to do. So as we going on, I decided to take the kids outside after we got through with our work. So I'm talking to the kid over to the side. He was letting me know that he's adopted. He's not technically adopted right now. He's in the system and he's staying with a relative because his parents are not able to keep him because of what they're going through. you know, and he basically just listed off a whole list of complaints, which rightfully so, his complaints were definitely valid, and I could definitely understand how those things would affect him and to why he'd feel that way. And so then I'm talking to him a little bit more, and I was like, you may not have the life that you want, but you still have life, you still have breath in your body, and you still have a chance, you know, to do something, to get more out of life because you're here right now and you've been given a chance to keep living. So that's where you can start with your gratitude. I was like, your parents may not be able to buy you clothes, but you're able to get money to buy these nice clothes and these nice shoes for yourself. You're able to come to school and get a meal, get 2 free meals if you don't bring your own lunch. You're able to get an education. You got at least one person that loves you, and if you think you don't, I do. So we talking, we running it, and you could just kind of see the change, and I was like, I want you to just start focusing a little bit, day by day, on the things that you do have to be grateful for, and once you do that, you'll start seeing that those things change. Not to say that your whole life is just going to drastically change, in one day or 2 days, or that it's going to solve all your problems, but you will be able to start experiencing a little bit more joy, a little bit more peace, a little bit more contentment with where you are right now. So I told him that he got it. He was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. He didn't say much, but you could tell when a person is listening, when they understanding what you're saying. As time goes on in the class, I could see his smile starting to come. I could see him becoming happier. I could see him just changing, and that really touched me. And the reason I bring this story up is because Here during this winter season, I reached a lower point in my journey to where I was like deeply kind of mourning the old me because, like I told you, I'm expecting again. And every time I give birth, it's like I'm always shifted to change. And so, I was finding myself like, getting upset, complaining about how I was feeling. Because this is my first time being pregnant and being this level of sick. I was sick with my second child, Legend, the one I was just talking about. But that sickness, it went away after I changed my diet. This situation though, this pregnancy has been so different. I've been experiencing morning sickness, and this morning sickness lasts day, middle of day, and nighttime. I've been more tired than normal. I've been out of breath. It's just been a lot. And I found myself really complaining. I was like, why am I already gaining so much weight? Why am I feeling like this? I'm talking about list of complaints. And then I actually got sick again. I got like a little, like a cold or something. No COVID or nothing like that, but I got like a cold and I couldn't breathe. And somewhere where I had wrote down a note about that experience with that student, it just fell out of one of my journals. I wrote it so long ago because this is like the winter time, and that was way back in spring when I was at my last school. But yeah, paper falls out my journal, and I look at it, and I just had to laugh for a minute because I always say God has a sense of humor. And Spirit told me just as loud as day, you feel so bad right now because you are not being grateful. You're not being grateful enough. I was like, huh? Who, me? I just said my prayers of thanks this morning. What you mean? I sent out my affirmation of the day on the app today. What you mean I'm not being grateful? I have been being grateful. I just don't feel good. Spirit said, you are not being grateful enough. I took that message to heed. I sat in my bed. I sat up. I grabbed my journal. I literally just started writing all that I had to be grateful for. I was like, thank you for my home. Thank you that I have breath in my body. Thank you that I've been chosen to bring another life into this plane. Thank you for my husband that is right here. Thank you for the children that I have that are healthy. I start saying thank you for, thank you that we have food in there. Because, about an hour ago, I was complaining because I didn't feel like cooking. I didn't have the energy to cook. I just had to say thank you that we have food. Because there's been times, where food was tight back in the, some time ago. But food would be more tight. You have to stretch the meals. I was like, thank you that we got a pantry full of food and a fridge and a freezer. I just started listing my thank yous. And it's like almost instantly, I could breathe again through my nose because I was stopped up. Before that, I could breathe again through my nose. I felt better. I had a surge of energy to where I could get up, go cook a nice meal, go clean up the kitchen. It's like I felt better. I was just in a much better mood. And I wasn't so focused on the stuff I felt like was wrong. I was focusing on what was right. And what was right seemed to grow. The kids started mellowing out, like everybody ate, husband cut on like a little movie and we watched the movie and it ended up being a good night. Even though I didn't feel like the way I felt months ago before I was pregnant, I didn't feel like the way I feel like before a cold, but I felt so much better to where I was able to enjoy the rest of the evening without complaining. And that just that that just it just hit home for me, to remember my roots, to remember the things that have gotten me where I am today, about remaining in a constant state of gratitude, remembering to be grateful. That's not to say that stuff ain't gonna be rough because there's ups and downs, light and dark, good and bad, all that. It's all together. That's all a part of life, though. But it's a matter of learning to be grateful no matter what your circumstances are. And a person that can be grateful no matter what their circumstances are will always, always, always be taken care of. And I truly believe that. All right. Now, I told you that this season is another level of transparency for me. So, I read the book, The Magic. I actually haven't finished it, so it's actually on my goal list to complete that book come February because it's 28 days in it in the book, and it's 28 days in February. So I thought it'd be pretty dope to, do that during the month of February. Anyway, I remember reading in that book that when an area of your life is not flowing the way you want it to, chances are you are not grateful. It could be with your health, it could be with your finances, it could be with your job. Wherever you are complaining or not being grateful enough, problems may tend to show up. You know, and I'm going, like I said, I'm about to keep it real with you. I hit like a challenging patch when it came to marriage. A lot of it had to do with just because when I'm pregnant in the very beginning, I am more moody, I am more emotional. And me and my husband, we kind of bumped heads a bit. We was bumping heads. We wasn't on the same vibe that we were on before I got pregnant. And I mean, this is all a part of the journey. Like I said, like we have our moments where we may disagree or whatever. But it's like, man, it's like everything he was doing was just making me mad. I was just so upset. And it's like I noticed that as I got upset, those things kept on growing, and I had to just take a moment and a step back. Like I had to take a moment and self-evaluate myself and stop saying what he was doing and look at what am I doing? Am I complaining about everything? Truth is, I was. So I reevaluated myself. So I started, instead of making my list of complaints, I wrote down a list of everything I was grateful for that my husband does, that he was doing, that he had done. When I tell you my list was so long, it was so long. Like there was so much to be grateful for. Like he's a great father. I mean, amazing father to all our kids. He's very understanding. He's very patient with me. Like the list is long. And so I'm looking at my long list of gratitude. I said, okay, I'm going to focus on that this month. And I'm going to pray for him. I'm going to pray for him, just pray for us, and focus on what's grateful. And I promise you, like in a matter of, honestly, it wasn't even in a matter of days. It was like in a matter of hours, there was a shift that happened. And I was able to just see clearly again, see through all my pregnancy emotions, see through all of the hormone changes and everything, and just see again. And I was just, it helped so much. And we continue to, change and grow and shift. And, we back in that great, great place. Not to say we was in a bad place, but we were in like a more challenging place. And so, yeah, like I said, more vulnerability this season. And, that's the kind of stuff that happen in marriages. Like every day in marriage is not like a walk in the park. You have days where you disagree. You have moments where you disagree, moments where you get upset, things like that. But it's all a matter of how do you champion through those times? How do you grow through those times? And when I tell you we are so much stronger now, it's amazing. And I'm just so grateful for how gratitude and how prayer worked in that situation. Again, the power of gratitude changes so, so much. Gratitude showed up again for me. I found myself again when I got pregnant. Shortly after that, it was kind of hard for me to feel super motivated to go to work, especially with the season changing and it getting colder. Because if you know me, I am so not a fan of the cold. Like when it's cold, I want to stay in the bed. I want to stay under the covers. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do nothing when it's cold. That's just me. It's let alone put on a jacket and drive and go somewhere. So I was feeling the way about school. This was like before the break, before the winter break, and I just found myself heavy. Love my students, love the job, love the atmosphere, love the work environment. But I was definitely complaining. Just I don't feel like going to work. I don't feel good. I was like, and then it hit me again. You're complaining too much. Fix your attitude and watch how your situation shifts. So I started back, getting up, expressing my gratitude. When I tell you so many great things happened for me at work within just a week, so many great things. I may share them later, I may not, but so many great things happened for me just from changing my attitude to a state of gratitude. And I was like, man, this stuff works. It's like it works literally like science. The power of gratitude will change your life in ways that you can't even see yet, just from being grateful. So how do you make gratitude a habit? You make gratitude a habit day by day. So it's supposed to take like 21 days to break a habit, but in order to break a habit, you have to like put a new habit in place. But then after the 21 days, I say it still takes a little bit more time because you break the habit, but to establish this new habit, it's going to take some more time. So I would suggest, trying to practice gratitude for 30 days consistently. Consistently practice it until it becomes a habit. And how can you do that? Before you get out of bed in the morning, like as soon as you open your eyes, your first words that come out of your mouth, the first two thoughts that you think needs to be thank and you. First two words, thank you. First thought, thank you. And I promise you that will change just how you feel about getting up. Because most people, well, let me not say most people. I know before I knew all of this, when my alarm clock went off, I felt the way. Like I didn't just I wasn't just happy to wake up. Now when I was a kid though, I liked waking up in the morning. And when we're children, we're in our natural state. We're still connected mostly to spirit before we've gone through the world, before we've had a journey through the world. But as kids, like that excitement, like my son, my oldest son, he wakes up in the morning, he be ready to get up. Boy, as soon as he opened his eyes, he hop out the bed. I had to tell him, take a couple deep breaths before you get out and meditate before you just get up and start running through the house. But yeah, he get up. He ready to get up. He ready for the day. He looking forward to it. My daughter, she the same way. She open her eyes. She like, Mommy, I wake up. I wake up today, like happy. And I'm like, that's how we supposed to be as adults, happy to wake up. Because to have another day is such a blessing. Everybody didn't get to see the next day. Some people didn't make it, but we did. And when you make it to see another day, that is something to be grateful for automatically, no matter what your state of bills is, no matter what your job is like, no matter what your relationship is like, no matter where you live at. Life is a gift, and being able to live that life is an even bigger gift. So the first words you say when you get up, thank you. Before you even give yourself time to think about anything else, thank you. And I say do it 3 times. That's what works for me. I say thank you, thank you, thank you before I get up. Then I try to open my eyes. Then I move. My gratitude journal is by my bed. And so I grab that journal and I write in it. I used to try to do 10 things every morning, but now I just fill up the whole page because I be having so much stuff to be grateful for because I do it on a consistent basis. And when did I start back doing this consistently? I started back consistently on January the 1st because I told you the beginning of my pregnancy was a challenge and I wasn't practicing this gratitude. But when I would start back, I would notice things would change. But on January 1st, I started back practicing it consistently. And it's been a really beautiful month. And it's not like anything just out of the ordinary has happened, but it's been a really great month of clarity, of peace of mind, of getting better. Like my health is improving as far as this pregnancy goes. I'm having less nausea. I'm having more energy. I am getting closer to the second trimester. I'm almost there. Just give me another week. But yes, things have gotten better just from me consistently practicing gratitude. My attitude's gotten better. The way I view things have gotten better. I've been more efficient at home. I've been more efficient at work. I've been more efficient with my business just from changing my mindset on things. And this is not to say I don't ever slip back into a state, where I am upset about something or whatever, because I mean that's just being truthful. You can be truthful about the state of something, but you can still be grateful for what you do have. But yes, grab that journal and write down your list of what you are grateful for. And that's before you even get out of the bed. That's before you do anything else. And yes, I have other things that you can add to your morning routine, but for the sake of right now, this episode, with it being the power of gratitude, that's what I'm talking about right now. So your first 2 words you need to say or think before you open your eyes or get out the bed or move should be thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 3 times is great. If you need to do a little bit more, if you hug that bed real tight, go to 5 times. Whatever is necessary for you to get up and move. Grab that journal and get to writing. Don't grab your phone. Get you a journal and write it down. It's something powerful that happens when you put pen to paper. Write down what you're grateful for. And then get up and do whatever you do for the morning. If you're a meditator like me, meditate. I highly encourage that. And if you need assistance with your meditation journey, grab that 365 days of mindfulness and accountability journal that I have available on the app, also available on my website. But yes, all right. Now, as you go through your day like you normally would. You don't got to really do nothing special. Just go through your day like you normally would. Now, if you find yourself in a state of complaining, though, or like if you get in a rut, really bad rut about something mentally, you can stop. Think of three things you're grateful for right there on the spot. If you don't have three things, I got you. I'm alive. Thank you that I'm alive. You're breathing. Thank you that I'm breathing. And then you got clothes on your back. Thank you for the clothes on my back. Even if they ain't the clothes you want, you got something on your back. And if you at home and you in the comfort of your own home and you naked, you ain't got no clothes, give thanks that you got a house that you can be naked in. And they know you like that's a blessing right there in itself. You got your own spot. So yeah, go on throughout your day. Now, when the nighttime comes, right before you go to bed, grab that same journal that should already be by your bed, get that, and then I want you to write out three of the best things that happened to you throughout the day. Three of the best things. It could be something as simple as you found an extra couple of dollars in your pocket, or you got a call from a family member that you hadn't talked to. It could be, you got a surprise. It don't have to be you ain't have to win a lotto, but just three good things that happened to you today. Just write them down. And then the next morning, do it all over again. Say thank you, thank you, thank you before you open them eyes. Grab that journal. Write down what you're grateful for, at least 10 things. It's going to grow, though. As you continue to do this, it's going to grow. And then at night, write down your three good things that happened throughout the day. That list is going to grow, too, because this is just how the formula works. It works. It's literally a universal law, the power of gratitude. Whatever you put out into the world, whatever energy you send out, whatever thoughts you have are going to come back to you tenfold. They're going to show up in your reality. And so that's just how that works. So, yes, that's how you can practice gratitude and make it a habit. Do it for 30 days. So if you do it for them 30 days, let's say you skip a day. So if you skip a day, then you got to double up the next day. You got to double up with 20 things in the morning. You got to double up with 6 things at night. So don't skip a day. It'll just be better if you do not skip. But of course, we human, and sometimes things slip up. So, but just give it a try. And if these 30 days work for you, then do it another 30 days. And if them 30 days work for you, do it another 30 days. And just do it for life because it really doesn't take that long, What takes longer, I know often we feel like, we don't have time to do certain things, we don't have time for self care. And really, this is a form of self care right here, not an elaborate bubble bath, not some of that stuff you've seen on Pinterest, but taking care of your mind and your spirit by practicing gratitude. This is a form of self care. And this is something that can literally take maybe 3 minutes or less in the morning, and writing three things at night can take you less than a minute. That's 4 minutes out your day, every day. And I mean, most people spend that scrolling. Most people spend that, scrolling their timeline. Most people spend that waiting on food to heat up in the microwave. Most people spend that just rolling up a load of clothes. I mean, 4 minutes can change your life if you start doing it. But yes, I encourage you. Try for 30 days, and then another, and then another. And if it works for you, share it with somebody else. Now, if you want to take your gratitude journey to another level, I'm going to encourage you to grab the book, The Magic, by the same author of The Secret that I was talking about, which was that Law of Attraction movie. There's also a book called The Secret that talks about the Law of Attraction. But The Magic is devoted simply to gratitude. It talks about how gratitude is the magic of life. And in that book, there are exercises for you to do every day for 28 days, just to enhance your gratitude practice. It's really an amazing book. And I've actually never finished it. It's like every time I pick that book up, I'll do it for a couple of days, and my life just changed so drastically in the best way possible. I put the book down. I could only imagine what would happen if I complete the book. So that is my goal for February, to complete the book. So, yes, I will include the link to that book in the video. In the podcast description. Or you can search for it yourself. But you using my link will maybe easier for you just to click on it because it's gonna be right here in the description. But yeah. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Backpacks and Hair Wraps. Please send me your thoughts and your feedback. I would love to hear from you. You can email me directly at podcast@thebookofcorinthian.com, or you can use the link that I'll be placing in the description as well as on the blog on the Book of Corinthian app. Normally, there is a meditation that comes at the end of each podcast episode, but I have decided to move those over to my YouTube channel so that they're a bit more interactive, and so you don't have to worry about meditating and driving, because I heard that some of you listen to the podcast while you're driving or while you're working out. Definitely don't want you going to sleep in meditation while working out or driving. That would not be cool. But yeah, I have put them on my YouTube channel. The video for the power of gratitude, it will drop sometime soon. So make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. And you can do that just by going on the Book of Corinthians app, just like you can for everything else. So please make sure you have the app downloaded so that you can just have access to everything, all the gems that I want to share with you guys this year, this season. Again, thank you for being here. Until next time, peace and love, y'all.